My name is Deborah Newbold and I am an education mental health practitioner. Today, in this video, me and some of my colleagues are going to talk to you guys about transition, particularly in the case of school. This video is being brought to you by the North Stoke Mental Health Support Team, and it will be myself, Deborah, and my colleague Trish, Jen and Zara, and we think we've got a foolproof guide to transitioning from one year to another, or from primary school to high school. So, I am going to start by talking to you about managing your worry. Now, worry is something that we all feel all the time, and it is perfectly normal. If something big or something new is taking place, it is absolutely normal for you to have a few worries. But what we don't want is for this worry to completely take over you and stop you from enjoying your school experience, because it is going to be brilliant. So we are going to start with my first piece of advice, which is talk to somebody. If you have a grown-up or a friend that you trust, you can talk to them about how you're feeling. More often than not, they will let you know that you are way more afraid than you need to be, and you will come away feeling much, much better. So if I can give you my number one piece of advice, that is to talk to somebody and to share your worries. The next thing which you can do while you're talking to somebody is ask questions. No question is a stupid question when it comes to transitioning from one school to another or from one year group to another. Are you worried you're going to get lost? Are you worried about the lunch menu? Are you worried about your journey to school? There is absolutely no shame in asking all of these questions, because a lot of the worry that you feel will be based on what you don't know. So if you can, find out as much as you can before you get to school or in the first weeks that you're transitioning. Now, those are my two top tips that you can do at any point in any day. But if you're still feeling a little bit worried, I want to talk to you guys about something called the snowball activity. And I love it. I do this as a grown-up. All it is getting your thoughts from your head down onto a piece of paper, scrunching it up and chucking it away once it's been dealt with. It's that simple. So you have a worry, you think about it, you write it down on a piece of paper. Once it's been addressed or dealt with, or you've got the answer to that worry, scrunch it up and pop it in the bin. So the final activity that I think will be really, really helpful for you to manage some of your worries is a worry box. And all you need for this is a cardboard box or a jar. You can decorate these things so it's really personal to you. And what you do is write your worries down again. It's very important to get them out of your head and onto a piece of paper. Write them down, pop them in the jar, and then designate yourself some worry time. What worry time is a portion of the day where you are dedicated to sifting through those worries and asking the questions to your designated grown-up or person that you think could help you with that. That way, it gives your brain the space to be free throughout the day, knowing that, say, between 6 and 7 is the time when you can deal with the things that you've popped in the worry box, and I think that's really going to help.
Hi everyone, my name's Trish and I'm going to be giving you some handy hints and tips for you to use when you go to high school. So tip number 1 is to get a good night's sleep. You should always try to get a good night's sleep, but this is particularly important when we've got school the next day. Getting a good night's sleep means that you are alert during your lesson time and getting the most out of your school day. Tip number 2 is to eat a good breakfast. You should always try to eat a good breakfast. It's your first meal since your evening meal the night before, and waiting until lunchtime the next day means that you could feel hungry during your morning lessons, which means you're concentrating on a rumbling stomach instead of what's going on in the classroom and your learning. Tip number 3 is to stay organised. When I say stay organised, I mean try and lay out your uniform the night before. Pack your bags with the correct books and equipment the night before. By doing that, that means that you've got more time in the morning to get that good breakfast and to make sure you get to school on time. Tip number 4, the final tip, is to get yourself a calendar. You might find it useful to have a calendar because it means that you can write in any important school events, project and homework due dates and look at them, and you've got them all there just at a glance.
Going through changes can be a difficult thing for everybody. It can make people feel a little bit worried and a little bit scared. For example, going from primary school to secondary school may be a big jump and may feel a little bit scary. Another example is moving up a year. All those feelings are perfectly normal, and these are changes that everyone has to go through. Although you can't control the situation, there are some things that you can do to help how you feel. For example, listening to music is a great thing to do as it helps distract you and relax your mind. So if you have a favourite song, a favourite artist, favourite band, go into a quiet place and listen to them. Another thing you can do is talk to someone. You can talk to a friend, an adult, a member of staff, anyone. Just someone that you feel comfortable expressing your feelings to. You can also go outside and get some fresh air, play a sport, go for a run, do something fun, take your mind off of the worry.
Hi everyone, I'd like to give you some tips on how to manage your worries and unhelpful thoughts when going through changes in your life, especially when it's time to move to a new school, a new class and a new year group. You might be really excited for this change. However, it's also very normal to worry during this time, and you might notice that your thoughts are now becoming unhelpful rather than helpful. We call these thoughts negative automatic thoughts, or NATs for short. Negative automatic thoughts come into our minds every single day. They often make us sad and worried. They are unhelpful, and we forget to pause to think whether they are true or not. An example of an unhelpful thought might be, what if no one likes me when I go to my new school? I won't have any friends. Or, I'm not the best at maths. What if I fail all my tests? I won't be able to get a job in future. There is a way to challenge these thoughts, and to do this, I'd like to introduce the thought court. I'd now like you to imagine that you are standing in court in front of a judge, ready to give evidence as to why your thought is totally true, and also give evidence as to why your thought is not true. Remember, this is a court case, and your evidence should be based on facts. A fact is something that can be proven. Your evidence must not be based on an opinion. An opinion is usually a belief which can't always be proven. To begin the thought court, write down your unhelpful thought. Now you may have more than one, but try to pick the one that's been bothering you the most. Next, you will need to find evidence which supports that your thought is totally true. What are the facts that you have? Has this unhelpful thought happened before? If so, what happened and what did you do to fix it? Once you've listed all of your evidence to show why your thought is true, move on and try to find out evidence to support why your thought is not totally true. Is it possible that this is an opinion rather than a fact? Are you basing this thought on how you're feeling at the moment? Have you shared this thought with somebody else? If so, what have they said about it? After you have identified all your evidence, have a go at recreating your thought that is now more realistic. You may start your sentence with, even though I thought this unhelpful thought, I now think, and then finish off your sentence in a more positive. And this is how we use the thought court to challenge our unhelpful thoughts. Now, you might want to ask an adult to help you find the evidence at first. However, the more practice you have, the easier it will be to challenge these thoughts. And if you're still struggling and worried about a new school or a new teacher or a new class, you can try to write a letter the night before school begins to explain your unhelpful thoughts and worries that you have to your class teacher. Hand this in to them in the morning, and this way you have shared your difficulties and there might be someone who will be able to help you. And finally, you can click on the link which will appear at the end of the video where you can find a worksheet to help you thought challenge. Good luck, and I hope this has helped.